Let's work on the seventh section of the project where the character stands upright. First thing we'll do is adjust our range slider to focus on this next area. About right here. Let's see how the animation looks from here. We'll just hit play. Okay, great. So we're focusing on this part where the character is standing up. And if we notice, if we hit play, notice how the movement's a little bit too fast. It's more like the weight is transformed into a lightweight type of object and the character can just float up. So we're going to want to fix that. And what we can actually do is a play blast right now just to get a feel of how the animation's looking now and what adjustments we need to make. Here it is. So again, we're getting some bad timing and spacing, not getting a good sense of weight, so we'll need to fix this. So let's start. What we can do is load up our character set right now, not our control curves just yet, just our character set. And a faster way of doing that is just going right here to the bottom right hand corner of the screen and going to the animal character set from here. So once there, what we'll want to do is delay this pose with the character standing upright, which is on frame 298. Let's move it down some. We'll shift select the key and let's move it down to about, let's try 311. Let's see how that looks. First we can hit play in our workspace to see how it looks, and yeah, I think that time is much better. What we're actually going to have happen is the character he's gonna want to maintain his balance as to not mess up his routine, because it's looking good right now. He's finally accomplished getting the weight above his head and he wants to go all the way, so he's going to want to keep his balance and as to not hurt himself both physically and mentally with his pride. Okay, now let's do another play blast to see how our animation is looking now. Remember, we don't want to always rely on our workspace. Here's the render. And notice that the timing is much better there. So now he's going to take his time to come up. Alright. So we can close this out now. And we can now bring back our nerves curves, hide our character set or turn it off, and start working on our next adjustments, which will be on the center of gravity and the head control, and also the shoulders. Because notice right now how the body is in a bit of an awkward slant. The character should have his head more faced towards us, more straight ahead rather than the slant that it's in. And the shoulders should be up and the chest needs to be adjusted. So let's work on these fixes. For one, we'll start with the chest control, and let's also go into our perspective and graph view to check this out. Notice how there's no keys. For example, on our rotation channel, our poses are just slowly moving all the way to our victory pose at the end. So we'll want to put some keys here to isolate this movement. And if we check out our translate channels, for example, translate X, Y, and Z. Okay, they don't have keys, but the translates, they're fine for right now. We just want to focus on our rotate channels for the chest right now. So we'll go back into our perspective view, and we'll make sure we're on the frame that we've made our adjustment on, frame 311. And let's start straightening up the chest a little bit more. So what we can do is go into more of a top view and use this as a somewhat of a reference to see how we can straighten out the chest. So we can move in the rotate Y to straighten out the character a little bit more, like that. And in the front view, we'll need to fix the rotate Z some, so we'll change that slightly so he's a little bit straighter. And we can even adjust the rotate X. Given that he's stepping up, let's go ahead and rotate him forward slightly here. Great. Now we can go into more of a front view and see, okay, what do we need to fix for as far as the head goes. So we'll scrub through. Okay, for the head, we'll just need to rotate it slightly to the character's right. So we'll go to the rotate Y, rotate the head, something like that, and also the rotate Z. Well, like that, and then we'll scrub through to see if we like the movement now. Okay, maybe we can rotate him a little bit more on the Y, slightly more to the right. Okay, I think that's better. So there's the head. And as far as the X, maybe we can move it up some. Oh, Let me go ahead and undo that. We want to make sure we're on frame 311. Okay, then we'll move up the head a little bit more. Just a tiny bit. There we go. Alright, so that's fixed. The head's looking fine for now. And remember, once we get the feet back in there and do our body shifts, we'll be adding a few more tweaks to the upper body based off of the character steps. But for right now, this is fine. We're making fine progress. Now we can adjust the shoulders. And notice how they're a little bit down when they should actually be up, given that the arms are above his head as they are. So we want to make the fixes on the shoulders as well. For this right scapula, we can just go into our rotate mode by hitting E and rotate the rotate Z constraint ring to bring his arms up like that. And we'll do the same for the left scapula. Again, the rotate Z constraint ring, keeping them aligned. Remember, we want to check our animation in more than one view, and it's looking fine. So there's our fix for the shoulders. As for the hands, we'll again be getting to them later because they are in desperate need of fixing. Alright? But for now, we just want to focus on our major adjustments for this section. And they're looking pretty good. So with all of these fixes made, we can hide our nerves curves, find a nice view to play blast from. Okay, and kick off a render. Here it is. Great. So with these fixes made, that completes this lesson, and it also completes our 7th section where the character stands up. In the next few lessons, we're going to focus mainly on the fall of the weight.